I should say good evening or good night, whatever. Actually, a lot was going through my mind when listening to the previous speakers. Actually, it is very hard to follow because there are a lot of interesting topics ranging from the energy cooperation and also the political aspect, and there are many issues. So I'm very much motivated by this event. And taking this opportunity, allow me to say thank you to the Director General and the IPPAI for inviting me to inviting the BIMSTEC Secretariat and also inviting me to be here. And also, I've never been to this part of India, so I'm very much excited as well as very happy. And the title, I think as I'm the last speaker, I don't want to take much of your time, because I know a lot of you are tired. So I will make my prepared statement available through the IPPAI if you feel like reading it. But I'm going to go through about 5 minutes of my suggested topic. So I was suggested to talk about the international power trade as well as the BIMSTEC, the role of the BIMSTEC. Actually, I work with the BIMSTEC Secretariat, and also I talk to a couple of my friends here, whether they are fully aware of the BIMSTEC and what we have been doing. So some of them know, some of them are not. So allow me to explain a bit about the organization. So in BIMSTEC, it is a Bay of Bengal initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation. It's a regional organization comprising of the 7 members. So we have we identify like an area to cooperate. So currently we have 14 sector, and energy is one of the important and prioritized areas in our cooperation. And BIMSTEC is different from other regional organizations like ASEAN and such, because we are the member driven, and also we give our member certain country to lead. For example, Myanmar is the lead country for the energy cooperation. So if the lead country are active, and then the cooperation in that particular sector will also go ahead. So this is one of the significant thing different from other organizations. And in terms of our energy cooperation, there is a mechanism to cooperate. So briefly, there is a ministerial level mechanism, and also like the senior official mechanism. And also, when and as needed, we will always meet with the ASPA group and also the task force. So there is a recent development in our BIMSTEC in terms of energy cooperation. One is the MOU on the grid interconnection. Some of you in this area might heard it, because recently at the 4th BIMSTEC summit recently held in Nepal, Kathmandu in August this year, the leaders signed the MOU on BIMSTEC grid interconnection. So the MOU on grid interconnection is not yet entered into force, because of at the time of signing, Bhutan was in the interim government in Bhutan, so they signed it at referendum. So it will be entered into force in a few more months, and after that, we all of us can work fully to implement the decision in the MOU. So I would like to highlight a couple of important decisions made at the 4th BIMSTEC summit. One is, at the summit, the 7 leaders from the member state, they agreed to have a intergovernmental group of experts to enhance the energy cooperation, including hydropower and other sources of renewable energy. So this is a good decision that member state will start forming the ASPA group to discuss the full energy cooperation. So recently, the Secretary General of BIMSTEC visited Myanmar, the lead country, and asked for the possibility of holding an ASPA group meeting. So Myanmar agreed. So in the very early part of 2019, we'll have an ASPA group meeting, which will focus not only on the grid interconnection, but also on the other area of energy. So the way forward will be that there will be the enter into force of the MOU, and then we'll have to draft the term of reference for the. We'll have there is a group called BIMSTEC Grid Interconnection Coordination Committee. So this is, according to the MOU, we're going to be formed this group. But in order to form this group, we'll have to have a TOR. So we will be, in coming months, our discussion will be focusing on this issue. And there's a political commitment in our BIMSTEC Energy Cooperation. The good news is we already have a 2 ministerial level meeting, and currently there is a commitment from Nepal that they will host the 3rd ministerial meeting of BIMSTEC, as well as Bhutan also committed they will host the 4th ministerial meeting in Bhutan. So these are the upcoming events for your information. And another thing is, some of you might think the BIMSTEC Energy Corporation is not progressing well it should be. Of course, there are some kind of financial aspect. For example, there is a decision of establishing BIMSTEC Energy Center, which is to be established in Bangalore, India. So we already signed the memorandum of agreement back in 2011, but this is yet to be operationalized. The reason being, there is a financial component of the center. So we have other BIMSTEC center in other member states. So we have to synchronize, and also we have to make the governance structure of the center. So only after this process is completed, for example, like BIMSTEC Energy Center in Bangalore will be operational. So another thing is, after the MOU, what we have to do is the master plan studies. We don't really have a BIMSTEC grid interconnection master plan. So we have been exploring the possibility, what we could do. So ADB, we talked with the ADB, and then ADB already conducted the research with for example, like South Asian International Power Trade and Development, as well as ADB did the research on the GMS power trade. So what the Secretariat is thinking is, in order, rather than starting a fresh new study, we're going to combine these 2 studies from ADB, and also we'll do a combination of study, so that our interconnection master plan will come quicker than we expected. So in my conclusion part, what I would like to talk to you is the BIMSTEC. There is a many opportunity for the investor. So one thing is that, if I can refer to the recently published BIMSTEC Energy Outlook 2030, which is a study of South Asia Regional Initiative for Energy Integration, there is some important findings. For example, like, as all of you are aware, our BIMSTEC region is endowed with the abundant amount of natural and energy resources. For example, coal, crude oil, natural gas, and hydropower. I don't need to mention in detail because some of you are expert in this area. So BIMSTEC can play a very important role in providing a platform for the securing an affordable, sustainable, and reliable supply of energy, and also electricity, by integrating the energy resources. So there are a few suggestions before I conclude. There is one for the government, some for the investor, like the IPPAI. For the government side, we need a very high-level political commitment in order to establish like cross-border energy trade. And also, the government will have to think carefully for addressing institutional barrier, and also the government will have to develop and harmonize the standards and regulation. These are the very important. I think the second speaker today also mentioned, without these, no matter how we talk about the cross power trade development as such, it will be very difficult to be successful. And also the government will have to create a cooperative, political, economic, and investment friendly environment. This is one of the important things. And now that we are talking about the grid interconnection, we also need to talk about the regional energy agreement. I mean, on oil and gas. For example, like gas grid interconnection, that is a long way to go, but it can be done. And also, for the investor side, I heard that there is investment in this area kind of substantial. However, we see that there is a investment and business opportunity, especially in the infrastructure, in the energy cooperation, as well as renewable coal and hydropower area. So with that, without further ado, I would like to conclude my brief talk, and then in the course of our 2-day discussion, we'll have more chance to brainstorm and share our idea. Thank you very much.